Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about an evolution in Magic the Gathering, a shift in the meta, or at least one that I am observing. Maybe you guys agree with me, maybe you don't. That's why we have comments, so that way you can let me know if you agree, but I want to kind of bring it up so that way you guys don't kind of fall behind if this is a big thing and you haven't kind of noticed it yet. Before we get into it though, I am by no means a super meta player, but I am someone who plays big boards, going wide, and it has friends to put up with my that I have to put up there with their complaining about this. This is also my opinion. This isn't a sudden shift in the meta, but it is something that's kind of been building up slowly over a couple new mechanics that have been introduced, as well as, you know, just slowly kind of over time. Now, there's no right or wrong. This is just an observation that I'm making while deck building and playing my particular decks and listening to my friends bitch. So make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are, you know, enjoy the content and stuff like that. That's the best way to be able to get it sent to you guys straight away. Single target removal, that's what we're talking about here. Because of there's being various different mechanics that have been coming out lately that I'll talk about soon, I think that single target removal is honestly just becoming less and less useful and less required. Board wipes are just becoming more important, especially if it's a board wipe that you can get that is asymmetrical. So it, you know, wipes other people's boards, but not yours. Efficiency is important, and you only have so much mana. If you're spending more mana on, you know, a single target removal and it's not doing as much, then potentially a board wipe would have been a better idea. So the first one of these mechanics is ward, and I think this is probably the one that's major that you guys will probably see in your games more often, but it's something that, you know, is straight in our face, right? Ward just makes it harder to do single target removals on an opponent's threats. It only counts if you are targeting a creature though, unless you're targeting that creature or whatever has ward on it. If you're not targeting it, then it doesn't matter. A board wipe is not affected by ward because you're not actually targeting it with a spell or ability. This means that depending on the removal, it could even end up being cheaper for you to have just wiped the whole board, removing multiple other different things along the way, especially if their commander is the one kind of setting up their board, like Adrix and Nev. You know, he comes out, they come out, create a whole bunch of tokens and stuff like that, creating a big board. If you just go and remove them, they're still going to have the board that they have generated from this, because no one's going to play Adrix and Nev without having stuff to be able to potentially get tokens out very, very quickly, right? Also, there is ward on equipment now, like equipments that give ward to creatures. So even that is going to make it harder to be able to remove single target things. I'll show you an example in a minute, but so a couple examples, you know, just generic ones from the most recent kind of sets. Vren comes out, has ward, right? But also creates a whole lot of 1/1 black rats that are going to be able to buff up each other. So that means that if you just remove Vren, they are still going to be able to have all of these rats out there. Removing just Vren doesn't affect the rats. They could potentially have a way to be able to get Vren back pretty easily. I mean, dude, they're in black, right? Unless you're going to exile him, then he's going to be coming back if he hits the graveyard. You know, there's just a lot of different ways that this guy is going to go big, and having the ward too means that you can't remove him straight away. Let's say, for example, they play him turn 4, right? That means that if you've got a, even if you've got 1 mana spell to be able to remove him, you're going to have to spend 3 mana on your turn to be able to remove him minimum, basically, unless you've got like a counter be able to stop him before he comes in. It's not going to go well. And then Voja. Voja is probably the biggest example of this, and the one that kind of stands out to a lot of people, and it's the one that my friend Jack John Jackson bitches about all the time. Ward 3 on Voja. It wasn't really necessary to be that high, but it is great. He costs 5. You can get him out turn 2 because you're playing Naya and you're going to be ramping. No, not turn 2. Turn 3 probably. And from there, you know, it's just going to be really hard for them to be able to remove Voja. In addition to the fact that you've got, you know, Naya colors here, so you're going to be making so many tokens out, and elves and wolves, and you're going to be shooting them out from everywhere. There's going to be such a big board that if you single target removal Voja, because as well, Naya, he's going to be coming back pretty soon, and, you know, you've just spent, like, say, minimum 4 mana to be able to remove him. So let's compare it between Swords to Plowshares, which is a single target removal, and this here, Wrath of God. This is a 4 mana removal that destroys all creatures. Swords to Plowshare is 1 mana. With Voja, if you're playing a Swords to Plowshares on Voja, that's still going to cost you 4 mana. Meanwhile, again, Wrath of God is costing you 4 mana to wipe their whole board. Sure, you're going to wipe your own stuff. Unfortunately, there are obviously asymmetrical board wipes you could potentially use as well. This is just a very, very quick example of the sheer difference you can get from 3 extra mana. Some other examples recently, you know, they've been adding things where it gives ward to other stuff. So this Long River Lurker here gives ward to all your frogs, just ward 1. Or Rith Liberated Primeval here from, what's that, Dominaria United, gives an extra 2 ward to all your dragons. And again, as I said, there's some more recent equipments that are going to be giving ward to the actual equipped creature. So Brotherhood Regalia here gives ward 2. Lava Spur Boots from OTJ there gives ward 1. Personally, I don't mind ward by itself, and this isn't meant to be an anti-ward, screw them, stop putting ward on everything video. I don't mind ward itself. I like that it's a good way for them to be able to make things more expensive. Ward has been around for a while, whether it's been existed as ward or if it's like a Terror of the Peaks kind of thing where it has a cost built in, but it's not actually labeled as ward. As I said, I don't mind ward. I do like better when they do unique things with ward, like Yigra here, or Forge that also tie into their abilities, or just flavorful ones. So like Yigra turns everything into food, and then the ward is sacrifice of food. So people can sacrifice their creatures if they don't have foods to be able to target it. Very cool. Or as I said, like Forge here is sacrifice a creature and then he gets buffed when people sacrifice creatures. Or Sauron, which is ward, sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. Very, very thematic for Sauron, you know, because of the whole ring and the fact that Lord of the Rings is all about big named people and stuff like that, like Frodo and stuff. So having people have to sacrifice their artifacts or legendary creatures is kind of like going in and sacrificing yourself to be able to take it out. It's really cool. So the other one here is Offspring. For a price of a small price of extra mana, you can now create an additional creature when you cast these spells. That means that single target removal is now only going to remove 1/2 of the card. So say for example, Coruscation Mage up here. If I play this and then I play the 2 extra to be able to play the little otter baby, then we're going to have 2 cards out for the price of 1 kind of, you know, big-ish card. And that means that single target removal is not going to actually remove the whole card anymore. So you're spending your full mana to be able to remove this card, but it's still got the baby that's doing the exact same thing. It's just a 1/1 instead of a 2/2. Offspring player is still ahead if you try and remove it because they're still fully, like they've still got their creature out. You've removed 1, but they've still got a creature. They got 2 for 1. Some of the creatures with Offspring are essentially existing creatures or enchantments as well. So say, for example, Kessig Flame Breather here, which is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, deal 1 damage to that each opponent. That's the exact same thing Coruscation Mage does, except Coruscation Mage gets to make a baby. So some examples here. Zinnia, obviously giving everything Offspring to is really great and means that Zinnia boards, like you want a board wipe for Zinnia. Agate Instigator here, which is a Impact Tremors. You get 2 of them out for the price of, you know, 4 Impact Tremors is what, a cost of 2, I believe. Let me just quickly Google that. But either way, even if you remove 1 of these, you're going to still have another one out there. Yeah, creature removals more often, and you know, you have more of it usually than artifact or enchantment removal, but still, like, you know, you remove 1, they've got more. Single target protection as well. There is a lot of different single target protection out there now. I think nearly every single color has it. Maybe red is the only one that doesn't. Like black definitely does, white does, blue does, and green definitely does. So maybe red is the only one that doesn't. I can't think of off the top of my head, but either way, there is a lot of different single target protection out there, whether it's giving hexproof, indestructible, shroud, or, you know, just additional power if you're using like a lightning bolt or something. This means there's more likely someone will have an answer for your single target removal, whether it's hexproof, indestructible, etc. Essentially allowing them to counter it for potentially only 1 or 2 mana. Like some of these cards, like this one here, Overprotect, is 2 mana for trample, hexproof, and indestructible. It's pretty great. So some examples, Shore Up here, +1/+1 and gives hexproof, and then untap as well. Smuggler's Surprise here gives creatures you control with power 4 or less hexproof and indestructible until end of turn for the price of 2. And then, you know, Fake Your Own Boots, and then Swiftfoot Boots. Swiftfoot can also go into a lot of red decks and go really well in red decks because they want haste and aggro and stuff usually. Another one here is Disa. Yeah, she gets her own slide. She's a commander that shits out huge tokens. Potentially, you can create 3 of these really big Tarmogoyfs each turn just by dealing combat damage to the 3 different players. While there are other token generators, don't get me wrong, hers are very big and very often and, you know, very powerful. Even if you remove her, there's still going to potentially be a whole bunch of ghosts running around. Creating tokens isn't necessarily unique, but creating token copies of cards that aren't in the game, like as in you're not playing that card in your actual deck, is pretty new. Don't expect them not to make more cards like Disa that are going to be able to create a lot of tokens very quickly, of big tokens as well. Or even if it just creates 1 big token, that's still an issue, right? So as I said, 1 Goyf is fine. If you've just got Disa and 1 Goyf out, then just remove Disa. But once they get to, you know, they've got 6 up because they've hit people and you're building up this huge board, you'll experience what my friends experienced in my Disa episode that I made. If you want to check that out, check it out. I was making a lot of Tarmogoyfs very quickly. Now, the other exception to this is multi-use single target. That is probably going to be useful for quite a while and be useful for, yeah, so many different things anyway. While, you know, stuff like Swords of Plowshares or a Path to Exile and stuff like that that can only target creatures aren't going to be as useful. I do think that stuff like Generous Gift is going to be even more useful now because it can remove artifacts, enchantments, you know, if it's got the option of removing other things other than just, you know, creatures, it's going to be very useful. So some kind of board wipes you can potentially use that aren't kind of too expensive, but still kind of great. Austere Command is probably one of my favorite ones. It's a little bit more on the, you know, pricey mana-wise side, but it's having the different options I really like. Toxic Deluge, Wave Goodbye is really cool. Azuri's Predation. Green doesn't really have board wipes, so this is more of a asymmetrical board wipe there, and then Blasphemous Act. So as for some asymmetrical ones, you've got like Cyclonic Rift, remove everyone else's, you know, board. Cyclonic Rift is great. Kindred Dominance in any kind of creature-based, like Kindred / tribal-based deck. If you've got that, like if you got black, use that. Urza's Ruinous Blast, Chandra's Ignition's really great. Hour of Reckoning. So what are your thoughts? Do you guys agree? Do you not agree? Let me know down in the comments. Have a great day and goodbye.